Welcome to T Boys TV. Oh, that's a good start. My phone's fell. A bit like Luton down the table. Anyway, back to T Boys TV. Obviously, back again with another Hat Show. Obviously, episode 219. And in this one, we will be discussing another away defeat, unfortunately. And then obviously, we'll be getting into another away game. Obviously, we've got loads of games coming thick and fast in this, New Year period. You could say, or upcoming New Year period. So obviously we'll get into that as well. But first of all, Dad, before we get into anything Luton based, how are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. Hope everyone's cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Big up to everyone that has been waiting before we went on the stream. But obviously we're here to get into it. So the Bristol City game, right? Going into it, I wasn't confident of a draw, let alone a win. Obviously there was one of them games where, like I said, for me personally, I just had them doubts because of that game a few years ago, 2-0 down. It can be a tough place to go, Bristol. Like it was for us in that game. Also, our away form was actually good that year, whereas this year it's obviously terrible. So on top of that, I had them thoughts because of that. And the lineup, again, there's always one thing, at least one thing you look at with Rob Edwards at the moment, and you do think, well, why is this player not in? Why is that player not in? Kaminsky in goal goes without saying. That's one we can't complain about. Johnson did start this game, which was interesting. I didn't mind that. I do like Johnson, McGuinness, and Holmes. You had Chong as a wing back. That's the one I have to question. Like Derby, like I've said numerous times now, guys, I had nothing to say about that because we had no other players really. You're not going to chuck in Nelson, starting him anyway. So that game was fair enough. But with Hashioka coming back, I'd have put Moses on one side, Hashioka on the other. But obviously Moses was on the other side. The games before this game, he has been better. Oxford game, he weren't great, but the Stoke game and the Swansea game, he was good as a wing back, I felt. And then obviously in midfield, you had Pelly Ruddock, which was good to see that he started. I believe that he should have had at least a run out, if not a start, because of his performance against Derby, the impact he made when he come on. Clark and Kraus, again, you can't really argue with them. Clark is the one who takes the set pieces at the moment. Kraus is obviously on loan, so you want to utilise him as much as possible. And then obviously you had Morris and Elijah. Again, Morris, the previous games has shown his leadership really well, I think. And Elijah, they're the main two, aren't they, really? So you're going to go with them. But yeah, it was the Chong situation again as a wing back. I don't like it. But the bench was Anderson. Surprised he didn't get a run out in this game. Hashioka, I would have started him. Krul, Nakamba. Again, Nakamba's another one. I don't like that. I'm not seeing him come on in games at all because I feel, especially these away games, you can utilise him and Kraus and then have a Cam ahead if we're going to stick with this two with a Cam in front. And then obviously you had Nelson, Phillips, shout out to Phillips, obviously come on. Great to see that more academy players are coming through and getting an opportunity and trying to shine, and do stuff. And that's what he did do in his short cameo. Peters, Taylor and Woodrow. So you look at that, considering there is injuries, it's not a terrible bench when you think about it, when it comes to, depth and a bit of experience. Obviously taken away, Phillips. Obviously he hasn't been on the bench, whereas Nelson has, who is another youngster for us. But you look at Peters. Obviously he's not match fit. That's why he's not getting any minutes at this moment in time. But you got Anderson there, you got Hashioka, you got Nakamba. You have decent options there. He's not a fan favourite, not really my favourite, but Woodrow, he can come on and make an impact like he did in the Derby game, but it's just his finishing which frustrates me. They've said he's the best finisher at the club, and again, he had another great chance in this game. Yes, it was a decent save, but we'll get into that. But yeah, for me, I was just disappointed with the fact that Chong was in wing back again. But other than that, I didn't really have any complaints. But again, like I say, there's always one thing you look at and you're frustrated with. How did you feel, Dad, when you saw that lineup?
Yeah, pretty similar to you, to be honest. Sorry, I'm just doing something. It was good to see Johnson starting. Yeah, I felt that Hashioka should have been starting as well. But he might maybe still wasn't, you know, he was still slightly carrying a knock or something. But, you know, he didn't come off the bench either, did he?
No.
So, you know, maybe he'll start, you know, tomorrow's game. And I felt like Anderson possibly should have started as well, but, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially when you look at Johnson, he's obviously predominantly been more on the left side. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing him as a wing back, to be honest. You know, but it is what it is. I do expect obviously a lot of rotation come tomorrow's game because obviously it is a quick turnaround as well. But going into the first half, I mean, you know, a lot of people thought it was decent. I don't know. I thought it was a pretty dull game, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I hear why people say it's decent in the aspect of we were actually drawing and at least we weren't losing in the game. However, there wasn't really much, was there? If we're going to be honest, Dad, obviously we watched this one together. There wasn't an awful lot really. You know, we wasn't really getting to grips with things. I mean, Bristol City had a few half chances, so did we. It was a bit of a dull first half, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah. You know, it was a bit. They a lot of possession, and then we got into it a little bit, but it weren't. I've seen worse from us away. Do you know what I mean? So it weren't too bad, but we've definitely, the confidence is so low. It's just ridiculous. But you know, obviously you're going to be happy to go in at 0-0 at half time against anyone at the moment, to be honest, away. So you know, there was that. And they had a couple of half chances. You know, we had a penalty shout. It wasn't. Chong just flung himself to the floor. So you know, they had a couple of easy routine saves to Kaminsky. You know, I think Twine had a free kick and stuff like that. It's quite weak, but you know, that's a player we were looking at apparently a couple of years ago, and we didn't manage to get him. But also, you know, yeah, 0-0. We'd be happy with that considering the away form, you know, going at half time. So yeah.
Yeah, no, there is that. It's just one of them where, you know, you look at it and you think, you know, we'll still take a draw going into this game. We'll take a draw in any away game right now, if we're being honest, guys. You know, and it weren't. Both teams just didn't really light up any trees, really. It was a bit of a dull game. And then obviously the second half, Twine obviously did have an opportunity and did obviously bury it in. Great finish, like I've said, but again, frustrations in the sense of no one closing him down. I mean, people are blaming Kaminsky. I don't know how. We need to be closing it down, and he got a touch to it. You know, a touch to a strike like that. I think that's quite unlucky from him, to be honest. And again, I think we're just picking at stuff. Really, you know, at the end of the day, we have to be closing him down. You know, and it was a moment of magic, wasn't it? That separated the two sides.
Well, it wasn't even that. Like, it was a great shot. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, but like, you know, it should have been closed down. You know, whether it's Scott Twine or whether it's Barry fucking McGuigan, it should have been closed down. Do you know what I mean? And you sort of Pelly sort of trying to forward. Kraus more so. I was quite surprised that he didn't, because normally he does. And then not defensively, like they couldn't really do it. It was like outside the box. You know, Kaminsky got his hand to it. You know, what else could he do? He just saved it, but you know, it's a quality strike. You know, it's not like he's straight at him and he's near post kind of. Do you know what I mean? Like from a close angle. And maybe even the geezer should have got tackled before he even got the ball. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it was a good strike, and we're not really doing that. We don't seem to have anyone in the team that can be doing that. And that's what you need at any level, really. You know, or even if we have got players that potentially could do it, they're not doing it. Do you know what I mean? I think Clark had like a shot from outside the box in the first half.
In the first half towards the end, straight at the keeper.
Yeah, I mean, you could say Holmes could have swung his boot in before the other guy got it, maybe. But there was enough players around him trying to close him down, or at least try and get in the way of a shot. The only one who tried to sort of block it was Johnson. But yeah, but from then, I know Rob Edwards has said that normally we cave in and we let another free in and this, that, and the other. We didn't, but they nearly got a penalty. It weren't a penalty for me. He was already going down. If anything, he'd run into Holmes. And the ball was going away from him. So yeah, but we didn't. We were just aimless balls, man. Just no sort of confident, passing it around and trying. So it's just totally gone. And then obviously the last couple of minutes we got Morris had a header on it, I think was it, and then Woodrow had that shot. Definitely, he got on target, but he should have put it. It kind of hit it straight at the keeper, innit? So he should have tried to, play it low across him to the other side. Really, maybe I think Brown might have finished that. But yeah, and it just ends up like that. Yeah, it wasn't as bad as it has been, but just because it's 1-0, it doesn't mean it's I don't think it's a massive improvement. I think that's an easy cop out, to be honest with you.
It's very lackluster again, especially our first half, man. We had 2 shots on target the whole game. That's not good enough.
Yeah, in the last 2 minutes or whatever, in injury time. Yeah. No, it weren't good enough yet again, really, let's be honest. And yes, we got the so what? This is what the squad's for. So
yeah, exactly. And the player, and even then, a player who, wouldn't be in a lot of people's lineups, Johnson was our best player. So that at the end of the day, your squad's there for a reason, and we have got a good enough squad. It's just the way we're playing, the way certain players are playing in certain positions. It's not working, and it's just getting frustrating now as fans because we're not adapting, we're not changing it up. We're not football managers, but we can all see what the issue is. So why can't he? I don't understand. And like I say, guys, there's one thing he does every game that you question in the lineup. There is, a few times it's worked, but even when it's worked, it's not convincing. And even then, it's all good. If you get a load of wins and it's not convincing, because especially about the championship is, you can climb up the table. But we're not doing that. We've had 2 good performances all season, I'd say. The Watford game, but even then, Derby, you have to be up for that game. If you're not, like you said, Dad, going into it, there's something seriously wrong, even worse. And the Sunderland game, I'd say they were the only 2, but we didn't win. We didn't get anything out of that. So, they're the only 2 good performances. There's been glimpses of other games, but I mean, predominantly a full 90 minutes. Is only been them 2 games. And how many games are we in now? 22 or something?
Halfway through the season, 23.
23, sorry. So, another one on top of that. It's just not good enough. It really isn't. But let's go through some comments. Big up to Paul. He says, "Good evening, lads. Good to see you in here, mate. Hope you are well. Good to see Rich in here as well." He says, "Evening. Big up to yourself, mate. Hope you are well as well." Good to see Lennon in here as well. He says, "Yo, big up to yourself, mate." But yeah, let's just get straight into the player ratings for this game. So Kaminsky, the goal, he couldn't have done anything, in my opinion. Yet again, I thought he was okay. He didn't really have to do any standout saves, really. A couple shots were straight at him, especially straight at him, in that first half. So Kaminsky, I'm not going to be too harsh on him. I'm just going to go with a 6.5.
Yeah, 6.5. Same reasons. Not much to talk about, you know what I mean?
Yep. No, exactly that. Moving on to the next player, Holmes. Again, I thought he was decent at times. I mean, we didn't actually defend bad in the game. Just that moment where they scored. I thought large parts were really good. I thought, obviously, we'll get into it, but Ruddock, I thought he was decent in one part in the first half. I thought he had an okay game, but again, we'll get into him in a minute. Holmes, I thought he was okay. He weren't terrible. Again, I'm just going to go another 6.5.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of them. Holmes 6.5 for me. Maybe he could have, tackled the player before he passed it to, Twine. But I haven't. you know, I'm really, it is what it is. Like I said, he could have been closed down, but he weren't terrible. And he's been playing all across the back three. So I think he's kind of, you know, deserved to start. You kind of trust him quite a bit, you know what I mean? So, but just a 6.5 for me for him.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. Yeah, he weren't terrible in this game. Let's go through some more comments. Hanno says, "Evening, big up to yourself, mate. Love the flag. At least someone's noticed it. What do you guys think? I got it for Christmas. It's pretty sick, man. It's actually bigger than it was meant to be. But yeah, hopefully I'm going to have that on the away days, or if they let me flip it now. They should do. So I see loads of fans have them. But yeah, that'd be pretty sick, man. Yeah, good to see you in here, mate. Hope you are well. Moving on to McGuinness. Again, I thought he was okay. I thought out the defence as a whole, well, out of him and Holmes, he was the better one, I'll be honest. I'll go slightly higher for McGuinness. I'll go 7.
Yeah, I thought he was all right. He was pretty solid. And he's looking like that. He couldn't really do anything about the goal, as it, you know. Well, mate, he's one of them that could. But for me, the midfielder should have closed the guy down more than anything. But, you know, but he was, other than that, he was pretty solid, I thought, in the game. And it's just doing his job pretty well, to be fair. So I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, no, he was decent. Then moving on to Johnson. If I was to give a man of the match, I'm not going to give one, but if I was, I'd give it to him. I thought he was really good in the game, looked really composed. And to be honest to him, you know, he has quite a lot. You know, especially, I always mention it, but that game against Everton in the FA Cup that we won, you know, I thought he was really good when he come on in that game. But this game, there was a moment in the first half, said it on the vlog, when he tried playing a long ball to Elijah. That was very unlucky. And I like that he's doing that, because I remember saying that on here about it. Because he's a youngster, you know, sometimes they just want to try the simple things and not complicate it, which I do respect. But I know he's got the ability to do other stuff, you know, make it a bit more complex. And he tried that ball to Elijah, and I thought he defended pretty well, to be honest. He was probably the only positive, really, out of this game. And the fact that we didn't concede more, to be honest. So, yeah, if I was to give a man a match, it would be Johnson. So, based on that, I will go with a 7.5.
I'll give him 7.5. I am going to give him man of the match. I thought he was showing a lot of confidence, whereas other players weren't necessarily. His passes, you know, yes, they were long, but they were pretty, you know, they were 90%. They were spot on. Whereas a lot of the other players were just whacking it without even, you know, thinking about where they're going to pass it. You can see why he's in the England setup. We've said before at the start of the season we expected him to be involved more. I'm quite surprised he hasn't been, to be honest. But after that performance, he needs to be starting in some sort of fashion for the next game. I feel he's young, he's energetic. You know what I mean? I don't really want to be seeing him going out on loan, because I think he can bring, you know, bits for us that we're lacking at the moment. And I want to see it. In fact, I wouldn't mind seeing him in on the left, you know, the left back position. I think he could definitely do a job there. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, man of the match definitely for me, 7.5.
And also, he's 18, so I don't really, me personally, I mean, let me know what you guys think, but I don't really see the point of loaning him out, because he's on that under 21 bracket.
He's too good well for League One. Do you know what I mean? I don't see the point. I think he needs to be playing Championship football. You know what I mean? And he's got a high ceiling, and he wants
and high expectations from what he said. Yeah,
you know, we won't be able to keep hold of him, but the way it's currently going. Do you know what I mean? Because he's definitely got a lot of quality, but because he's young and stuff, you know, he definitely could play in the Premier League. He's got that definite potential, but he wouldn't be starting regular. So we need to like be giving him what he actually needs. Do you know what I mean? And playing him, I think.
Yeah, and it could be a great opportunity for him as well, especially with obviously Bell and Doughty being out at this current moment in time. Moving on to the wing backs, we'll start off with Moses. Yeah, it weren't a great game from him. I mean, his previous, you know, last couple of games, Stoke, Swansea, I thought he was decent. In Norwich, he started that game. I can't remember if he started that game, but either way, he done well in that second half. But this game, not so great. I mean, the early signs were probably there. someone passed the ball to him. I can't remember who it was, and he, a player of his experience, he wouldn't even expected the ball went over his foot. It was, I mean, from that moment in, you knew he probably weren't going to have a great game. I thought he got done quite easily at times as a wing back. So for me, not a great game from Moses. I'll go with an average 6.
Yeah, I'll give him 6. Thought he was quite poor, but the thing is, yes, he played in that position for Chelsea, etc. But that's Chelsea, you know what I mean? You have better players around him and stuff, and I don't think we're going to get the best out of him because I can't see where else he fits into the team. We're not going to play him up front. The only other place I could see him playing is potentially is Cam. And I just don't. I just don't think we're getting the best out of him in that position. Really, I don't. I'd just bring him on as an impact sub.
I remember I was saying that earlier in the season.
Like we did against Sheffield Wednesday, and I think we've done it against a couple of other teams.
Plymouth away, we've done it.
But it's the way we play. Really, yeah. I mean, he could probably play in the front three as well, probably on the left or the right, I reckon. But we're not utilising him enough. Getting the best out of him. So I'll just give him a 6. So it's probably the poorest game I've seen him for us.
Yeah. For me, it's either that or the Oxford game. Like I say, he got done a bit too easy in that game, I feel. But it's quite interesting because, like Rich says here, I mean, when he was at Moscow, he actually played in centre midfield.
Yeah, but he's got the quality. He can play. For me, he could play midfield easily.
And you have suggested that a few times on here.
I
remember you saying that, about putting him there with Krause and stuff.
We don't play enough central midfield anyway. We've got enough anyway. So.
Yeah, and also if you look at his transfer market, it says his main position is obviously right wing. They play as a left winger and right midfield. So, putting him on that sort of right side could work. Or even there. I wouldn't mind that because the thing is, when we play this Brown, Morris and Elijah situation, I don't know where Brown is. He's probably as a cam, but I'd still, from Norwich away, I couldn't tell where he was. Yes, he scored, but that was from a corner. Do you know what I mean? I can't really tell where he was.
Best I've seen of Moses is when he's been in the box and around the box and around the penalty area. That's when.
And on the right hand side, linking up, doing quick 1-2s, crossing it into the box and stuff. But yeah, shout out to Blue Terrier. He says, "What's the situation with Joe Taylor?" I mean, he's starting to play more, but I still think he leaves. Probably, well, you guys obviously the team he's rumoured with the most. I mean, if you guys can get him, then fair play. Obviously, you've been looking at him for a while. Obviously, the stuff in the summer as well. But I don't know with Taylor because, I just can't see us keeping him. I mean, he is getting more minutes for us, but, he had a moment. Yeah, he's not knocking on the door that we thought he would, if we're going to be honest. Because he has played enough minutes now, guys, to try and do something. All right, some games come on for 5 minutes, but I think it was Leeds away, come on for about half hour, 25 minutes. He has had them opportunities. I don't know. I don't think we keep him. Well, I'd be a loan with an option to buy, or we'll just get rid of him permanently. He'll be the one that will go. Woodrow won't go, I don't think. Especially the fact that he's coming on more in games as well. And he had that moment against Derby that probably saved him, if we're going to be honest. There we go with that. Spencer says, hello to everyone. Big up to yourself, mate. Hope you are well. And then moving on to Chong on the other side. Well, again, I don't want to see him as a wing back. Keep seeing it. Don't like it. Another 6 for me.
Yeah, same. And, I don't think he likes playing out there either. He's not strong enough. You know what I mean? You need him nipping forward in them forward positions, similar to Moses in certain ways. Cam, where he's going to get clipped and things like that. He went down way too easy for the penalty. I know initially you thought it was, but it wasn't.
Looking back at it, wasn't.
And just stuff like that. It's just not getting the best out of him. And again, we're not utilising him enough. He was when we first signed him. It's like but even playing, Cam last season, he was better. I feel like because he was used in that.
He did have a spell, didn't he, where he was scoring goals and stuff.
Again, he's another one who's better in and around the penalty box now. And when he was linking up with Doughty in that last season, things like that, where he was cam or he was in midfield at times, I think. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, 6.
Exactly. And again, we always say it. He's not strong enough on the ball. So I don't get why we're putting him as a wing back up against pacey players that, in and out, that, I don't like it. I don't like it. Again, Derby, I understood it because we had no one else there. But the other day, I didn't like it at all. So yeah, there's that when it comes to that. Moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Ruddock. I didn't think it was a bad game from him. Like I say, there was a sliding block that he did in the first half to clear it out for a throw. That was really good, actually. Because I've had my worries about him defensively at times, sort of as a defensive, sort of minded midfielder. But in this game, I thought he was decent. He got on the ball a few times, did some nice stuff. I'll just go over 6.5.
Yeah, I'll just give him a 6.5. He was trying, but similar to what the other midfielders, really, he was one of the ones involved that maybe could have closed Matey Boy down, and that him and Kraus particularly. So yeah, I'll just give him 6.5. Like, he didn't do anything bad other than that, but it weren't just him involved in that.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Kraus. I thought his, interceptions and winning the ball in this game was really, really good. Again, it has been in majority of games. It's just his passing which has let him down at times, sometimes, especially last time out against Swansea, I felt. But his interceptions are really good. I mean, in the first half, he's probably a standout player for us, or one of them up there with Johnson, in my opinion. So for me, I'll go with, I'll give Kraus a 7. I actually felt quite sorry for him.
I'll give him a 6.5 as well, like I've just said earlier. But yeah, you're right. And it reminds me a little bit of last season when Barkley was playing certain passes and then players just weren't on the same level or ready for it and that. And I feel a little bit if it's that. He's trying well hard, you know what I mean? And he's busy around the pitch and that. And like I said before, that's why Nakamba's being kept out of sight, because he's basically doing what Nakamba can do, but also bringing the forward play as well. He's already scored this season, things like that. Maybe he'll be rested tomorrow, but
nearly scored as well, didn't he? Actually, as well.
Yeah, but I'll just give him 6.5.
Do you not think though, if we have, because he has come in and been a bit more attacking than a lot of us would have expected. Do you not think, like, away from home, if you play Nakamba who can cover more, give him the luxury to go forward and defend, do you not think that could work? And then have a Cam in front as well on top of that, i.e. Chong or Clark.
He's got to be giving them instructions and be allowed to do that, you know what I mean?
Because we all know Nakamba on his day, when he's covering in front of the defence, he can be good. And then if you've got another predominantly defensive-minded midfielder ahead that can do the attacking as well, I think that could benefit us. With someone else on top of that in the Cam, whether that's Clark or Chong. I don't really mind who out of them. Probably right now, probably just say Clark. Use Chong as an impact player right now. But, if he come on and scored or whatever, then obviously I'll go with him. But yeah, that's that. When it comes to that, it's a little debate. And then moving on to Clark, we'll go over to Clark now. Not terrible, but didn't really light up any trees. I'll just go 6.5.
Yeah, same.
Simple as that, really. And then we'll move on to Morris. He's had better games in recent weeks, in my opinion. Obviously, he did get a yellow card. The leadership was shown at times, but not to the extent of what has been shown in recent weeks. So you know what? Just going to go over 6 for Morris.
Yeah, same. He can hold up the ball, but he can't turn, and then, do you know what I mean? And it's just too predictable at times from him. And we weren't, because we was hitting them hopeless balls up there. It never helps them guys, man. Doesn't work anymore.
Elijah was very frustrated with him.
Got away with it in the early days and all that, because we had pacey winger. It kind of works, but now it doesn't. It just doesn't work lumping balls up to them. You need to play it into their feet closely so that they're situated near each other and all that. Do you know what I mean? I think he got a cross in the first half, and then no one was in the box and that. And it's like that's the problem. But yeah, I'll just give him a 6.
And the thing is, there's a couple of times we do that in games, like we did in this game. It's brief, guys, but we still do it, and we look good. You know, we do look good when we do it. I mean, there was glimpses of it in the first half. I can't remember who it was against, but it's a home game. You know, where we done it, and it looked decent. I think it might have been Cardiff or someone like that. You know, we look decent, but we just don't do it enough. It's just long ball after long ball after long ball, and it's just not working. You know, they're both, like you say, Dad, they're both good at holding up the ball. It's just after that, sometimes it sort of, well, Elijah's better at it. Morris is not that type of player that's going to really turn, like you say, and do that. So it is frustrating. But moving on to Elijah, obviously nearly set up Kraus for the goal. Very good bit of skill. Obviously, we've seen him do that type of skill for us many, many times. I thought he was okay in the game. You know, first half, like I say, he was frustrated predominantly because of the way we were just lumping it up to him and Morris. But I do think he was slightly better than Morris. And I don't think it was terrible. So, you know what? I'll give Elijah a 7.
I'll give him a 6.5. A couple of times he was offside, which happens quite a bit with him, but I think it's just because he's been told to hang up there. And which he just sometimes strays. But yeah, that was a good turn. You know, there was argument. I think Chong was trying to say that Kraus should have maybe laid it off to him, but I don't think he saw. He just snapped. You know, tried to play it quickly. You know, and the fact that went in, it would have been a great goal. But you know, but yeah, we just weren't getting the service either. So, but he was more effective than Morris, so I'll give him a 6.5.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then moving on to the subs, obviously his first one was Woodrow. I mean, he did have that chance, you know, because he has been, you know, stated as the best finisher at the club. Whether you think he should have scored this one or not, people are going to question it. I mean, Coventry away, he had a great chance that he should have scored, in my opinion. Could have been a different game, really. He might have actually got something out of the game. But yeah, I mean, he does that. He has them chances. Obviously, we spoke a bit about it earlier, you know, what he could have done. And again, you've got that high ceiling of him because of what he's been labelled as best finisher. So it's frustrating. I'm going to go for 6.
I'll give him 6.5. I don't think he was too bad. Yeah, he should, you know, but he was passing it around, getting involved, getting in the right places and stuff for the 20 minutes or so where he was on. So I'll give him a 6.5.
Yeah, fair enough. And then moving on to Nelson, I thought he was really good again. He tries to make an impact, you know, looks for options, gets on the ball, tries to make things happen. 6.5.
Yeah, same. And then the other two, I'll just give him 6. It was good.
Yeah, but what I will say about Phillips, he played a good ball into the box.
Yeah, straight away. This is what I'm saying. This is the confidence thing. You know, this is where they're just like on it like that. And I think, part of me was thinking, you know what? Start a couple of these youngsters. You might as well now. The season's pretty much a write-off. I don't think we'll go down because of the a lot poorer teams than us. And you know, them Nelson Phillips. First time I've seen him, but he looks strong, and he just looks like he's looking for the good ball. He's got good quality from what we saw, so that's quite interesting. And obviously Joe Johnson as well. So yeah, it was good to see him. But 2 minute, 4 minute, and you know he was on for that little time, and he was involved quite heavily. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but yeah, I'll just give him a 6 and Taylor a 6. Taylor as well. He could have got the assist for the Woodrow goal because it was him who kind of played it across. But
yeah. There you go, guys. That is player ratings. Obviously, that is Johnson's first vote from us for the season. As for the points, did gain another point. So I've got a 2-point lead against you, Dad. Obviously, I did say 2-0. Could have been 2-0. Obviously, they did score, but it was slightly offside. He had a few other half chances as well. And then, obviously, you know, you said a draw. I mean, large parts of that first half looked like it could have been, to be honest. But, yeah, I just knew it'd be that type of game, really. Another disappointing away day, which it was. And, yeah, that's now 8 away defeats in a row. It's not good enough. it's not good enough. And yeah, it's just getting frustrating now. Same old away performance in it this season, just lackluster and not good enough really. But any final things you want to say on the game, Dave?
Nah, not really.
Yeah, I don't blame you, to be honest. But yeah, moving on to the game tomorrow. Another away game, guys, against the Swansea side who have just won 3-0 against QPR. And you can say it's QPR, this, that, whatever. The fact and the reality is they're on better form overall than us in the last couple of games. But yeah, great win for them. Obviously, one of their players did get a hat-trick. Luke Williams did get a hat-trick. Bit more on Swansea. They packed the punch on Boxing Day when they battered QPR by 3 goals, like I say. Came off the back of back-to-back defeats against Sunderland and Hull, moving Sunday's host up to 10th place. Luke Cullen continued his goal-scoring form for the Swans. He now has 6 goals in his last 8 games. The home side will be looking up the table rather than down. Last time we met, obviously, was earlier on in the month. Obviously, it was a 1-1 draw. I mean, they were the happier side. I mean, fair play. There was some Swansea fans that couldn't get trains. They ended up paying for an Uber £900. So at least they didn't lose from their end. Respect to that every time. But as for us, poor yet again in that game. Obviously, we watched it, Dad, together. And, you know, we started off well. Elijah got a really good goal, capitalised on Swansea playing it round the back. So they are another one of them teams that do that. But then second half, we weren't great. You know, Swansea had some great chances to go on and win the game. You know, their shot was a great strike from a corner. Yet again, no one's marking. Another outside of the box goal we conceded in that game as well. So it wasn't great, you know, from our end in that. But the referee for this game, it'd be the first time he's actually refereed a Luton game. 2 of his 19 games this season have been championship games. For Rye, I think they say it. So that's going to be interesting. 52 yellow cards and 1 red card been handed out by him across his 19 games this season. So that's interesting when it comes to that. Obviously, as for the table, like I say, they sit in 10th. If they did win, depending on what Sheffield Wednesday do, they could actually jump up to 9th because they've got a better goal difference. As for us, if we did win, we could go up to maybe 14th. But again, that depends on what other teams do. If we drew, well, we'd stay where we are because our goal difference is terrible compared to QPR's, which still ain't great, but ours is a lot worse. So, yeah, very frustrating. But, yeah, a bit more insight. Swansea are winless in their last 5 league games against Luton, drawing 2, losing 3 since a 1-0 win in March 2021. So that's a good stat to hear from our side. Luton have won their last 2 away league matches against Swansea. Indeed, they're looking to win 3 in a row for the first time. Swansea City have lost their final game of the year in just 1 of the last 7 years, winning 2, drawing 4, losing 4-1 to Nottingham Forest in 2021. Luton Town lost their final league game last year against Chelsea in the Premier League, last suffering defeat in their final game in back-to-back years in 1988 and 1989. The latter of which was also against Chelsea. And then this one's decent from our side of things. Luton have won their last 4 away league matches in Wales, the longest ever winning run in Wales in their Football League history. So, I mean, there is ones that factor us there, but, you know, you look at everything else, Swansea on here, well, it's not always, you know, obviously right, obviously, but they are heavily the favourites, which is a surprise because as much as we have been poor, you know, on this anyway, we are the favourites a lot because we were in the Premier League last year, but it's just not looking good. I mean, they've just won 3-0. They were the happier side with the draw, you know, and I can't blame them for that earlier on in the month. But as for us, man, away from home, we're just terrible. And like I said, guys, I don't know where it changes. So for me, I'm not really too confident going into this game, if I'm going to be honest, because we're just terrible away, really. Played each other recently as well, and we just didn't win that game. So not too confident. I think I said a 1-1 draw in that game, if I remember rightly. So yeah, not too confident. But how are you feeling going into this, Dad? Can the away finally change?
we have got a good record against them and like that, the Wales thing and that. But I do feel like a lot of that's come under when Nathan Jones was the manager, and our players made sure they were up for it like all the time. The only thing that is kind of giving me a bit of hope is they might be a bit overconfident. We played them recently, so we can give us a little bit of a closer look. Don't make them kind of mistakes again. And over Christmas you do get some mad results because everyone plays the turnovers quick and that. But our away record is so bad that we just need like a bit of luck or just some just some crazy ass situated performance, even like where everything just goes for you. You know what I mean? Even if you're not really, do you know what I mean? And I don't know where that's coming from. It could come tonight. Who knows? So it's a pretty much wait and see. Like you can't be. There's nothing to be that confident about, is there really?
No.
So,
exactly that. And even then, you look at the games. We are unbeaten in the last 5. I mean, one of them was that 3-3 draw, which weren't good enough. Because we were 3-0 up. I was at that game. Obviously, that's when the Lansbury moment went viral. He booted their player, but no one talks about their player booting the ball away, which is why I done it. But either way, being 3-0 up, that weren't good enough in that game. I mean, we did beat them 1-0 away, which I nearly actually ended up going to by myself. That was a midweek game. 2-0. I remember us watching that together, Dad. I believe that was the game Morris had his first ever goal for us, if I remember rightly as well. So that was a good away win. 1-0 at Kenilworth Road, if I remember rightly, not too convincing. I think Morris scored again in that one. Again, I was at that one. And then obviously the 1-1, which weren't the best from us. So it's not like we blew them away really. That 2-0 was a good win, but other than that, bit average really. They're always tight games, so I'm expecting another tight game with them when it comes to tomorrow. But yeah, getting into the lineups. So I will start off with my lineup that I will go with for this game. So for me, this is what I'm going with. Just move up a little bit. So Kaminsky in goal. Again, one position we can't complain about. I say it every week. Because it is a quick turnaround, I do expect changes to be made. So I've gone with Holmes, McGuinness, and Anderson. So I'll put Anderson there. I'll put Johnson as a wing back. I don't want to see Chong there. I don't really want to see Moses on another side either. But it probably will be them two. Hashioka on the right. Again, I felt sorry for him the other day. Should have played for me. He's the only right wing back available at the moment. We're not even using him. Crazy. Midfield. Now, I was debating to go with Kraus and Nakamba or Kraus and Ruddock, but Nakamba's just not getting a run in, really. And Ruddock weren't too bad, in my opinion, the other day, so I'll stick with him. I'll go with him and Kraus, and then Clark ahead of them. Use Chong as an impact player, but again, I wouldn't mind if he starts there, but I do also think, well, if he's not there, who's going to take set pieces based on my squad? Because obviously I don't have Moses there either, and obviously Baptiste is out, Doughty's out, so partly gone with it for that as well. And then I have stuck with Morris and Elijah up front. I was thinking of maybe changing it up, but I'll stick with them. Morris has a good goal scoring record against Swansea, like I mentioned, and Elijah did score against them in the last game through his relentless pressure that he does. So that's my lineup when it comes to it. So we shall see. I'll say I do expect at least Moses or Chong on one side, maybe Hashioka on the other. But yeah, Johnson probably has that centre back again on the left side. As for your lineup, Dad, there you go.
Yeah, so it's not too different from yours, really. I've gone with a back three of Holmes, McGuinness, and Anderson. I think Anderson probably should be starting this. I felt we should have started the other game. And then obviously, for me, that would enable Johnson then to go into the left back position. He's defensive minded, and he can play a pass. I think he'd be pretty effective from that position. Hashioka, surely he should be fit enough now to go where he was been playing well. Kraus, I just think he just brings a lot to the team. He with his interceptions, etc. So I feel he probably won't be rested. Could do maybe swap for Nakamba or whatever. on keeping Clark in there and please play Chong in that position because he's better in that position. And then sticking with the front two away. So we'll see. But you could throw Brown in the mix there. We'll see. But Moses after the last game, not like give Johnson a chance. I think he deserves it. And you know he's in the England setup, so they require you to play in be comfortable in a couple of positions, and I think he can be. So yeah,
and it's like a lot of people said, especially a lot of other fans said the other day, Johnson was our best player. You've given man a match. I said if I was to give a man a match, I'd give it to him. And you said you want to see him more. I want to see him more, especially with the fact now, we've got the likes of Bell out, Doughty out. I want to see him play more. So I do agree, and I'd like to see him there. Probably won't, if we're going to be honest. But again, it's our opinions. But yeah, moving on to that time. It is score predictions. Now, like I say, I'm not feeling confident yet again. I mean, neither's Rich in the chat, but he reckons it'll be 9 in a row away defeats, and I can't blame him whatsoever. Fair play to anyone that goes to Swansea, especially while we've been away. It's just not good enough. But yeah, Dad, we got away games coming thick and fast. Obviously, we have got a home game in the middle of this, but then we go to QPR, which we have to perform. It's a bit of a derby now. But this game, how are you feeling?
I don't know. Well, I just can't see past that poor record, really. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Swansea win.
I'm not going to lie. I'm only laughing. It feels weird hearing you say a defeat. Usually keeping the faith and stuff like that. But it's hard to at the moment. I have to be honest. It's hard to. As for me, I'm going to go for a Swansea win myself as well. I'm going to go exactly what I said for the Bristol City game. A goal less actually. What the Bristol City score actually was. And I'm going to go for a 1-0 to Swansea. Just not so confident, really, as expected with how bad we've been away. They've just won 3-0. Not confident. So, yeah, that's mine. Rich, just not confident. Let me lose next 4. I mean, what is it? It's Swansea, and we got Norwich at home, who we lost 4-2 away. I mean, we weren't bad in that game. It's just individual mistakes. Might get an annual 1-0, 2-1 home win, and then lose. In the next game, which is QPR, and then after that, I don't know who it is. I can't remember from the top of my head. I think Preston at home. We lost 2 away, so it's not looking good, bro. But yeah, Aiden has gone with a 1-1 draw. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I mean, in a way, I wouldn't be surprised because obviously it was earlier on in the season. But yeah, it's not looking good. I mean, Spencer's gone 2-0. I can't blame him. 2-0 Swansea. Oh yeah, Forest away. Yeah. I was on about in the league. Yeah, Forest away. We're done out here. Yeah, we're done out here. We are finished, mate. They're 3rd in the Premier League. We are doing nothing. They'll rotate, but so will we. But we'll get into that game near a time. And Paul, again, likes to be confident, but it can't be at the moment. It's gone 3-0. 3-0 defeat. But I've got 2 other people around me that do want to predict the games. They've been on the channel before. Right, come on.
Oh, you wanted to come?
Yeah, go on.
I'm a rep the Luton shirt.
Yeah, rep. Yeah, so someone has to, I guess.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, look, new goalkeeper shirt. Harry's here as well. Come on. Right, what's your prediction? Get your prediction out.
1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Right. Okay. Fair enough. Harry, mate, we've been on away days together. We've been on Coventry. We've been Plymouth. We haven't witnessed a win. You'll be watching this one with me. Not quite there, but another L pending. Yeah.
But I'm confident, probably 1-1. Something like that.
1-1. Well, they're keeping the faith, Dad, a bit more than you. So that's always good. I mean, at least someone is. But yeah, as for me, I've just seen the same rubbish, really, if I'm going to be honest, guys. So yeah, any final things, Dad, you want to say about anything? Oh, actually, goal scorer for you.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going
Morris?
Holmes.
Oh, okay, that's an interesting one. To be fair, he has got close. Go on, say it. Clark. Harry, who's your one? Own goal? Ruddock. Okay, I like that. I do like that. That'd be good because his goal got taken off him against Derby. But yeah, any final things that you want to say about anything?
Nah, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, simple as that, really. But yeah, as for me, nothing to say when it comes to that. I obviously will be watching the game, so yeah, I'll probably do some sort of thing regarding it. Whether that's a log from home myself or I'll do a match reaction. I will see. But yeah, Norwich, I should be in and around the area for that game. So yeah, obviously I'll be there for that. So if any of you in and around the area want to do a fag cam, then obviously do. Obviously Mike will do one like usual. And then from there on in, not too sure. QPR's on a Monday night, so I ain't going to be doing that. And then from there on in, I don't know at this moment in time. So yeah, man, big up to everyone that's tuned in. Obviously, big up to yourself, Dad, like always. Shout out to everyone jumping on. Come on. There we go. And yeah, man, shout out to everyone in the chat as well. Obviously, do smash a like if you haven't already. Do subscribe as well to the channel if you haven't already. And again, I know a lot of people watch this back on playback, so obviously smash a like there, subscribe, all of that. Follow me across all my socials, subscribe to the extra channel. Hopefully we can get something tomorrow, but yeah, where the faith is going. You know what I mean? At this moment in time, 9 away defeats on the row, or can we change it? We shall see. But until next time, we will see you lot in a bit. Hat show, we'll do it all in one again. Obviously, it's a quick turnaround. Playing on Wednesday, we'll probably do it on Tuesday. So yeah, big up to yourselves, guys. Take care and peace.
Peace.